I'm with Jakob from Gyraf. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Now, I've seen your gear in loads of mastering studios and some mixed spaces as well. It's super high end. You just gave me a little bit of information that I suppose like companies like Trident, you have that sort of tradition. You were a studio that started building your own equipment and then you started selling it from there. And you were saying it's one of the biggest studios in Denmark?
Yeah, it was the now defunct feedback recording.
Yep.
I worked there from the late 80s and onwards, and I was more or less the service department. And at that time, we had all the money in the world in the studio business because we had the monopoly on distribution. So whenever we needed something that was on the shelf out there, we just bought it. But when they needed some stuff that they couldn't just buy, I was commissioned to build it. Like, build me an EQ, I'll do this and that, and this knob must go to 11.
Like all the classic studios, like Trident. That's why we end
exactly
up with the
like the Trident, yeah.
Yeah, great.
So, and then the visiting engineers will come by and say, well, can I bring one of those home? And eventually I made the company Gyraf Audio to be the company that will make stuff for people to take home, the take-out version of our studio.
Nice. So give us a quick overview of the product range.
What we have here presenting is like 3 units that are mainly made for mastering, mixing stuff. We have the parallel passive EQ, that is a complete passive inductor capacitor-based filters with a tube makeup gain amplifier. So it's like 5 bands where you select frequency, whether you want to boost or cut, and how much.
Yep.
And then a quality factor Q going from wide to sharp, and just 5 times that. In these units, like in our other EQ, we have a selection between like tube mode or solid state mode, because most of the times actually I prefer the tube, but sometimes it gets too much, and you want to have the functionality without the tube sound also, so there's also a solid state path.
Absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love the amount of steps here.
No, there's a quarter of an hour on each step for easy recallability.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a big deal. I mean, it's the one thing everybody complains about with analog and why everybody says they like to work in the box. It's because, it recalls instantly. And all my electronic engineer friends always tell me that stepped is better anyway than fully.
It's really hard to make continuous tracking stereo. All these units are stereo units.
Yeah.
And to get left-right tracking in stereo is a nightmare with the potentiometers you can get.
Yeah.
So we need to go through very strange steps in order to ensure left-right tracking. When I was a kid, I was a tape op in the studio, and it was my job to, while everyone going out for lunch, to set the second channel of the Massenberg exactly like the first channel and like the Sontec. And I hated that job, with a phase meter and a sweep, all that. So I promised myself, when I grow up to be an important engineer, I'll only make stereo tracking devices.
Make it stepped.
So it's for recallability.
Yeah.
So, and then there's the Verimue compressor, which is an elaboration of a Verimue compressor we made many years ago. It's like a 20-year-old design that was a stereo compressor only. But there was a tendency, a lot of people liked it so much for recording vocals that many asked for like a dual mono version of it.
Ah, okay.
So this is exactly like the G10, but it's dual monorized. Yeah. But because I made this commitment to the stereoizing, and we have a mode where in this mode only these knobs are active. So now this is a stereo compressor, and those
controls the right as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we split into dual mono anyway. We can as well do a MS, because on Verimue we have transformers in and out, so we can make a matrix for free just by rewiring. So we have the MS more or less for free in this setup also. So
so that's the Verimue mode there?
No, it's Verimue all the time. That's the variable linking. Because when you're in MS mode, you will want the compression to be not the same in M&S, because that would be equal, the stereo compression. Yeah. But you don't want it to be too different either, because that will make you dizzy. So you need some degree of correlation, not full correlation, not fully different.
Okay.
And this one, it goes from completely different, completely individual, the 2 channels, to completely correlated. So
interesting.
So this actually works like a focus puller. If you listen to it while turning this one in MS mode, you can feel stuff coming in and out of focus.
So that's interesting. So you go to MS here, select that. I'd like to hear that. So obviously stereo bus. This is a must. But as
Yeah.
a dual mono, people are using it for vocals and
Yeah, actually, a lot of people in mastering are using it because it's very suitable for some genres in rock and some of these.
Can you link them? Can you? I don't mean link them as in this one controls this one. I mean go from this one to this one.
Daisy chain them?
Yeah, daisy chaining.
Probably, yeah.
Just 'cause I'm thinking to myself, because
So
what
like-
I love is that soft ratio compressed,
And
hard
then-
ratio limit.
Then you want to look into my G24,
Okay.
which is a optical compressor,
Yeah.
a passive compressor, but with two side chains.
Okay.
The stereo compressor, but there's two complete side chains that add together to control the gain.
Right.
No, because if you daisy chain these two, you run through two separate instances of the very mu, which are not the cleanest in the world. Some of the character comes from the very mu stage, and two of those might be too much for some type of material.
Might be amazing on others.
Might be, yeah, you got me thinking here. Yeah, I definitely.
I was talking to somebody else yesterday about that, and they were like, "Yeah, that's a really good idea because if we're going to be using analog equipment,
Yeah.
we're using it because we're trying to commit sound.
Yeah. We are using
What we
it.
hate about digital and what we love about digital is the same thing. So you can do anything, but the problem is like
You can do anything.
Anything.
That's the problem also.
Yeah, it's the problem.
Yeah.
But if what I like with the vocal was always like to do about 3-1 and then 20-1, and 20-1 would just go tap,
Yeah.
tap,
Yeah.
tap. But this is
Exactly.
going da 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 da. But that one's tapping the odd peak.
Yeah.
You know, like a 160 VU to 1176, 20-1, you know, and 3-1.
That is exactly
Yeah.
how I did vocals back in the day.
Yeah, I really want to hear this. I like the Verimue stage. I like the idea of a little extra pizzazz on it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it doubling up.
But actually you're right, because everything that, if you wanted the clean compression, the functionality of this, just keeping the level, you would use in the box any kind of plugin, because you can do beautiful stuff in the box if you need it clean.
Yeah.
If you need the external, like the extra grit or the extra sound,
Yeah.
digital is not it yet. It will probably be at some point, but we're definitely not there yet for the extras of the analog.
I still like the idea of committing. So even though I'm working in digital, when I pull it up, it's pretty much the record,
Yes.
and then I'm tweaking from there.
Yes, take the decisions early so you can be free to be creative with it later. Yeah.
Excellent. So what else have we got? We talked about these two.
This one is a tilde EQ.
Okay.
Based on somebody asked, one of my local engineers asked for a tilde EQ, and since I was a kid, it was always my impression that a tilde EQ would be a straight line that you tilt, and it doesn't make sense anywhere else, but it turned out it's not. Any tilde EQ you see out there is just a bass and a treble control on one knob where you turn up the bass when you turn down the treble. So you actually do exactly like this.
Yeah.
So the only benefit is you save one knob.
Yeah.
And I was like, why?
I agree.
Yeah?
That's why I've never used tilted keys.
No.
For that exact reason.
And then we were like, what would happen if we did the straight line?
Yeah.
And it turned out it was kind of interesting, because the problem you have with any kind of EQ, for example, if you do these mixed late at night and you come back next day and it's too bright because you're tired,
Yeah.
and you try to touch it with your EQ to get it back, the mix falls apart.
Sure.
Not because you are EQing it wrong or the mix was wrong, but because the time or the phase response of the filter somehow messes with some parts of your signal. And this is because you cannot do a filter without, technically, nerding out a bit, I'm sorry.
I like the nerding out.
But you need to do a filter in any way, even digital, you need plus minus 90 degrees of phase around the corner frequency. And we can't do a filter without that, and this is what messes with the phase response of your signal. No filter without that, but we can take this plus minus 90 degrees and we can stretch it over 8 octaves.
So
In any place,
very slight.
Yes.
Over a long period. Very smart.
So this one
Yeah,
is
very
a
smart.
straight line over the entire spectrum, up to a maximum of 1 dB per octave.
Okay.
Okay, and a byproduct of this is that normally on a tilde EQ you'll need to select your rotation point. That is where it's the cross point between the high and the low, because that makes a lot of difference to the character of what it does.
Yeah.
And that's why you see so much space around here.
Yeah.
Originally on the prototype we actually had a rotation point selector, but it turns out that
Like you've got a center detent, good.
But it turned out when you have a straight line and you have another straight line on a different center point, it's the same transfer function, only the gain is different. So we saved a couple of knobs here.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's like universal makes stuff brighter or darker without messing with the signal integrity.
Want to hear that too?
Yeah, but
Okay. Well, we've done all of these. What have we got going on the top here?
oh yeah, that's our recent design, or it's like all these are commissioned by the mastering and mixing guys in our studios. We have one producer that is doing a stack of our units when he's doing recording vocals, and for a long time he's been asking about couldn't we just make a compact version of these 6 units he usually doing.
Oh wow.
So this is basically this compressor optimized for vocals only.
Right.
We didn't do any compromise anywhere for making it good for anything else. As we never really changed the attack time on the vocal recording, we just fixed that. And the release we changed so it actually only goes to here, like in the maximum release time. Then we have a EQ, which is basically the vocal part of this one. It's the tilde EQ in the center we just talked about, and a high and a low.
I'm burning to ask the obvious question. How much is this?
I think it is introductory priced at 4,500 euros, something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, it might be expensive, but this is all tube,
No, I mean,
no
it's all
cheating.
tube.
Yeah.
It's, if I look at my chain, I'm probably going 1073, like 3.5, 4,000 into a 160 VU. What are those going for now? I don't know. 165.
A real one?
Yeah. And then into an M76.
Yeah.
I'm probably about $8,000.
I risk my case.
Yeah.
2 years of development.
When did it come out?
This show is the first presentation.
Studioszene 2023.
It is, definitely. So
Amazing.
I mean, you need to release it to the good people.
Yeah, no, this has been a fantastic show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they put this together.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you ever so much, Jacob. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for such incredible stuff. There will be a link down below where you can check out all of Jacob's stuff with Gyraf. And so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Adios. What's goodbye in Danish?
Farvel.
Say it again.
Farvel.
Farvel. Farvel. I'm standing here with the rather wonderful Jonas Wagner. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Good to
What a
meet you too.
pleasure.
I hear you in Deutschland. You're quite the recording informationist person.
Yes. I'm doing the recording block in Germany.
Yeah.
So I'm quite inspired by you.
Oh, you're very kind.
There are very few people who do speak English that good that they can follow your stuff. They can listen to what you're doing, but some people don't understand English. So I thought, let's talk about it in German, and I'm doing it in German, and I have 47,000 followers here in Germany.
It's amazing.
On a tiny market like Germany.
Germany is not a tiny market. It's not a tiny market. This is, here we've been at Studioszene, and they've said they have 5,000 people come this year.
5,000 people.
Yeah,
Okay, that's quite amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And what I've loved about it, I'm sure you've noticed, like every person here is actually doing music.
Yes, everybody's creating something.
Yeah.
So that's really wonderful. Do you have some favorite stuff you saw here?
I do the Gyraf stuff. Now, so it's the Danish company. So they're making a vocal mic pre, compressor, and EQ.
Okay.
Which everybody makes one of those. However, it has EQ section on it, which is completely passive, and a word we used to hear when you and I were kids, transparent.
Okay.
And we don't hear that anymore.
No.
Because now everybody wants everything to be colored because we're in digital. They want everything. This is proper transparent tube technology. So what you can do is you can low cut, but it doesn't sound like all the low end was removed. It just feels like it's gently pulling out the low end.
Okay, great.
You can boost the high end without it sounding brittle. it is probably the best all-in-one vocal mic pre-compressor EQ I've ever heard.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Because mine was the microphones from AEA.
Well, yeah, we love
They have
those too.
the KU5A.
I have one.
Oh,
Yeah, so good.
it's such a brilliant.
Yeah,
I saw it when I saw a video from Scary Pockets.
Uh-huh.
And they used to use it for female vocals. And I said, what's that mic?
Yeah.
And then I checked it out, and it's freaking amazing. It's really
Wonderful.
a wonderful, beautiful mic.
Fantastic.
I have to spend some money, but I take it.
Yeah. Well, Jonas, thank you ever so much for
Thank
talking
you
to us. I
very
really
much.
appreciate it.
I'm a really great fan of yours.
And now I'm going to be watching all your stuff, and I'm going to be playing it at half speed so I can keep up.
Try.
Because my Deutsch, as I say, no, nicht gut.
Better than my Spanish.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
So, Ruben, how the devil are you?
Hey, hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Good to see you. We met at in Limoux in the south of France.
Yeah,
That was a lot of fun.
got an amazing time there with you.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
So what have you got that's new? What can you tell us about? We're at Elysia, by the way, if you haven't
Yeah.
guessed.
So what we show here is an amazing possibility to show our gear here with these amazing stands. So we have a presentation, here are sound files, we have 2 headphones, so if you have with 2 persons here, you can hear all the stuff, and it's an amazing experience. So our logo here is hands-on analog studio equipment, so that the people really can try out
Nice.
analog gear and get an idea what analog sound looks like and feels like.
Now, little precursor. You designed the transient designer, which we all know and love. And
Yeah.
this, your stuff takes a transient designer to the next level. You can get completely frequency conscious.
Yeah.
You can sit there and do all kinds of stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's the envelope here. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
advanced transient designer with frequency splitting and complete Class A circuitry. So the sound is really, I would say, it's the best transient tool in the market. So
Yep.
it's hardware, so it sounds amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely lovely. And then what else do we have here? What's the character?
Character is
Yeah.
some kind of a distortion tool, which
Nice.
goes from mastering grade to very crazy stuff. So a wide range what you can do with this.
Nice.
Yeah, super nice.
Fantastic. X filter, tell us about this.
Stereo equalizers, so we have one control for both channel, super great for master bus, for all kinds of buses. Sounds amazing and sweet. Yeah, and then the Expressor Neo, I'm really proud of it. That's more than a little brother of your Alpha compressor. It sounds superb, I have to say. For me, one of the best compressors for buses and for mastering. So you have to try that out. It's really, really
Yeah,
great.
I really want to try this
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we're talking about flying out to do a factory tour with you, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that will be amazing.
That would be amazing, yeah. All right, what do we got hiding over here?
Yeah, here is our Cube series, and we combine it here as one set. And here are our amazing preamps, a sculpture, a preamp, which have inbuilt compressor, a shape function, from clean to more, let's say, vintage style, super DI box in there. Then we have the Empressor also as a little version here. So the Empressor is a very creative compressing tool, which can do overcompressing, has gain reduction limiter, stuff like this. Yeah, then we have here the Envelope as a 500 version or Cube version, and here also the Character. And this is something.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is something when people start with outboard, most of them don't have a big desk with 19-inch
Sure.
insert slots.
Yeah.
So you can use this and put it on the table and stack it also like a tower. So
Yeah.
that's some kind of the compact version of an outboard gear.
No, it's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. Well, thanks ever so much.
Yeah,
really
nice to meet
appreciate
you
it.
here.
Good to
Cool.
see you here.
Yeah, thanks.
So we are very blessed because our good friend Ruben here at Elysia is going to give us one of these beautiful Empressors to give away. This is an amazing unit. I have had the pleasure of using this quite a few times now. I suppose most recently we used it in Limoux together and we talked about it. Gorgeous. So how much are these?
About 600 euros, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not a cheap unit, a beautiful unit. So we're going to give one away for free. There will be a link down below to enter to win the Empressor by Elysia. So we're back with Marc. And we were here talking about, of course, all your beautiful Dangerous stuff, which I suppose, for me, you're most well known for. Whenever I see you, I think, this is Mr. Dangerous.
Great! I love being
You are
associated
Mr.
like that.
Danger is your middle name, baby. All right, so, but you have a couple of other things that we wanted to touch on.
Indeed.
First of all, I suppose we could talk about Chameleon Labs, but actually, I know a little bit about that and
Yes.
expand it, but I know nothing about this. How do I pronounce this? Ex Machina?
Machina.
Machina?
Ex Machina.
Machina.
So remember that it is Latin, so no one really knows how to pronounce it.
Okay.
And you don't even have to have an accent, because we don't know what the accent is either. But Ex Machina is what's accepted by, the priests and the papal justice. So
Okay.
we'll go with that.
So tell us about them.
Okay, so Ex Machina is out of Brooklyn, New York, believe it or not.
I was expecting you to tell me it was some... So it's out of Brooklyn.
Out of Brooklyn, and these
Okay.
these scientists are so nutty that they built a hemianechoic chamber in New York, which is the third quietest place in the United States. Anyway, so they're based out of there, and it really is, to me, it's the first innovative breakthrough that we've had in 30 years since Meyer HD1s put power amps into speaker cabinets.
Wow.
So what do I mean by that? Well, they've taken material science to the absolute limit that you can. Things like Valchromat cabinet, so it's incredibly dense and rigid. Valchromat also is safer for your family, unlike MDF that will disintegrate and go into the water supply and kill everyone. Or multiply Baltic birch. This is definitely better.
I didn't mean to laugh at that, but I was just like, that was a tangent.
Not my family, right?
Yeah.
And you'll notice that they are not ported; they are sealed cabinets.
I was wondering about that. That's why I looked on the back.
Yeah,
I was like, where's the pull?
Absolutely, because a ported cabinet is going to give you better audio every single time. Every company will admit
Can we blast
that if you
people and hear them?
If you push them hard enough. Yes, of course.
Let's do it. We're going to blast.
You want to crank it up?
Yeah, let's crank it up.
All right.
Baby, I've been here before.
I'll stay here for a second.
In this room, I've walked these floors.
One of the most distinctive voices ever, isn't it? You get a little teary-eyed. Because what a singer, what a voice. We haven't talked technical stuff, but I've got to ask, how much are they?
This set is 13 grand for a pair.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot of money, and everybody's like, I can't believe you. But I've been in this world of ATCs and PMCs.
Exactly.
And high-end General
We call it the alphabet soup.
I've reviewed, I don't know, 100 pairs of speakers, and a lot of the criteria comes down to these days of like, how good are they for their money?
Right.
And what's been really good, I think, for a lot of people coming into the industry is that, let's be honest, at that sort of like sub $500, there's actually some really good sounding speakers now. It used to be you had to spend $1 billion to even get something decent. But this actually fits that criteria, because even though they're $13,000 for a pair, the only thing I'm thinking of that they would compare to would be about $30,000.
Yeah, I would argue that I would think they'll beat that, because believe it or not, but the high frequency device on there performs as well, maybe better than lab-grown diamonds.
Wow.
So that's metamodal materials. When I was talking about material science,
I enjoyed that so much.
Yeah.
You have good taste, my friend, in music.
Thank you.
But let's go, just do a bit more Michael, but actually kind of hidden inside the track.
Okay. Here. Here's your level. Why don't you drive?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna listen too loud.
Sweet things from Boston, so young and wheeling.
They're right on the cusp because they've got that 2 to 3K, little bit forward, but not too to me, there's a very clear delineation now with speaker design. We've got the over 40s age group that has grown up listening to things that are very mid-range forward. And we mean like 7 dB lift at 1.5K for a pair of NS10s.
Sure.
So we got the ears, like I grew up on that stuff. So there's still kind of speaker manufacturers which are really pushing mid-range forward. But that is an age group thing. For kids coming up now, if I put a pair of NS10s up, they're like, why would anybody ever work on these dreadful sounding speakers? But it does clearly delineate what kind of speaker you're going to buy and want to hear. Now it seems like a lot of companies are coming in with these massive front-to-back depth speakers. The opposite of that. These seem to fit somewhere in the middle to me. So what I like about this is that they have just enough mid-range excitement to actually make me want to work on them.
And the thing is, you'll be able to work for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we love silk because it starts rolling off and it's not fatiguing, it's forgiving. But we start losing things around 12K.
Right.
And we love metal, right, because it goes up to 30K.
Yeah.
But we get tired working on beryllium and titanium.
Yeah.
So this is, the combination being a metamodal material. It's the same stuff that we're using in the Endeavour blades flying around on Mars.
Sure.
So it'll take you up to 30, but you won't get tired. It's as light as paper, but as strong as steel.
Great. Very nice indeed. Well, I think there has some of that characteristic of the beryllium, the thing that I do like about it, which like the Trio 11s have. I like that because I have a pair of those as well. But I don't know. I think actually the mid-range is a little bit more detailed for me.
Well, the trick I tell people is like, look, take a pair, do your mix. You just, you mixed your song, you know what it's like. Now throw these up and mix that song again. Without listening to it, without doing anything, just mix that song and then see how it translates.
This might be
elsewhere.
one of the few pairs of speakers that I could work on that I'd also enjoy listening on.
Yeah, it is. That's
a very tough thing to think. It's what a lot of audiophiles get really frustrated with us on this side of the industry. They're like, we want things that are like,
In our line of work, our job is to translate. We need this stuff to work in earbuds, to work on laptop speakers, to work in the car stereo, to work in the club mix. Super complex. So, I mean, we look back at like the Daft Punk record, and I'm probably going to get slammed for this, but why was it so popular? I mean, I think the songs are really good, but I think the production and the mix and everything from Mick Wazowski is just great. So it played back. I mean, I'm in the supermarket and I'm hearing Get Lucky or something like this is the first time I've heard something sound good in the supermarket. So I think it translated to people so the music connected for them. So that's what we're trying to give you.
Well, I'm impressed. Like I say, they're not cheap, but they're certainly punching way above their price range.
Oh, yeah.
Addy!
Warren!
You here?
Willkommen to Germany.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good to
We've
see
been
you.
having a blast. This is day 3 of Studioszene 2023.
Absolutely love it here.
I absolutely love it. This has been my favorite. What it reminds me of is when NAMM used to do the Nashville one. Meaning it was like all the people that come here are actually in music. When I go to these monolithic ones that are like 400,000 foot square things, it's like, it seems like 99% of people there are just going, is that somebody famous?
Yeah,
but here,
that's
it's
true.
all producers and engineers.
Yeah.
And a really big mix of people. So I love it. This has been my favorite one in a long time.
Absolutely, because you have time for conversations, you can
Yeah.
exchange your knowledge, you can
Yeah.
learn again something new
Yeah.
and pick on somebody else's brain.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, that sort of leads me to ask you some obvious questions. And those obvious questions are, what has been your favorite thing here?
My favorite thing here.
Yeah.
I
Favorite things, maybe, plural.
my favorite thing. So audio-wise, Audioscape, really love them.
Great.
The gear that they are doing, it's incredible. Tegeler Audio, our dear friends.
Yeah, Michael, yeah.
Oh man, always good energy. Of course, Telefunken, where we are here, AEA,
Yep.
that we visited also in America and the States. It's great to just have all the companies here.
All right, gun to your head, if you could walk away with one product. I haven't asked you this, so I don't even know what I was going to say.
One product?
One product from the whole show, what's it going to be?
I would take something for my master bus to make my mixes better at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, some analog gear for the master bus.
Have you seen Gyraf
Gyraf? No.
for your
I got it.
master bus?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But what's the thing that you love so far that you've seen?
What I have seen, definitely the Tegeler stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Tegeler stuff.
Yeah,
the new
Tegeler
plugin
stuff.
that came out, and
Yeah.
it's just high end. It looks good. and-
Have you heard the creme?
Yes.
Yeah, we love that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, lots of great stuff, lots of great companies.
Apart from that, most important, a big gift we have, education.
Yeah.
That we have your master classes here. We can learn from you.
I've done 6.
Only.
Well, the highlight, actually talking to people was great and taking questions and stuff like that. The highlight was definitely doing a 1-hour talk with Jason Joshua.
Oh man, Jason
Yeah.
is.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. Yeah, his masterclass was great, and I was very grateful to give 2 classes here
Great.
about our journey. Could find again new people who work with us for our next step to make a music production school in Morocco. So
Right.
we get like new sponsors here, which is great.
Great.
It's like family.
Wonderful. Addy, thank you ever so much.
Thank you, my friend.
Of course, there's a link down below. You can go and see Hit the Road Music. That's Addy's channel, Addy's website, and he also has masterclasses.
Yeah, on ProMix Academy.
ProMix Academy. Thanks, everyone. So we're here with Manuel.
Yeah, hello. Nice to meet you.
Well, you represent. Good to meet you too. You AEA, MOTU, Telefunken,
Telefunken, yeah. And the new Fairchild that
and
is
the new
coming.
Fairchild, which is coming from the same guys who have Telefunken.
Yeah.
But all we
right.
have is a photo of that. It's not actually out yet.
Yeah. It should be here, but it's 1 week too late. So I will
Next
get
time.
it next. Yeah, next time,
time.
of course. Yeah.
So I thought to myself, well, bearing in mind you work for all these different companies, what
Yeah.
can we do? So I'm just going to do this, throw you under the bus.
Yeah.
Of each of these companies, say,
Yes.
starting with AEA, what's your favorite AEA microphone?
My favorite AEA microphone. These are all incredible microphones, but my favorite is the R88 because it's so versatile. You can do anything with it. In our workshops we show that you can use it on vocals as a normal microphone when you just one side, so you have a normal ribbon mic. You can throw it at a piano, at acoustic guitar. You can do, of course, room miking with it. It's perfect for room miking. And
which I see it being used for all the time.
yes,
Yeah.
all the high-end studios in the world
Yeah.
have their 88 somehow. And it's incredible how you can spot the signal in the room. So what we do here is you can take on such a headphone.
Yeah.
Then the other one, let's go around.
Yep, yep.
So that's my circus number I do all the time here. You can put this on.
Yeah.
And I go in the middle and I talk to you, and then I
Nice.
move a little bit in the room, and you can hear me and you can spot me when the closed eyes. You can see where I am, and it's totally so much.
Completely binaural, yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah, and sometimes it sounds like you don't have a headphone on your head, so it's so natural.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and this is my favorite mic. So because there's no mic that can do this in such a quality with such a natural sound. Yeah. So it's incredible.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Wow.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
a different reality.
Yeah. A 3D sound. Yeah.
You know, a lot of conversations going on around, so be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. All right, so that's your favorite AEA microphone.
Of course.
Now I'm going to throw you under the bus. What with MOTU? What is your what's something here that you consider a?
I love these small interfaces.
Okay, well that's good because we're going to do a giveaway of the M2.
Yes, we will do. So they are built like a tank. You can throw it in your backpack and go in a hotel or wherever you are and
Yeah.
record. And I love the details on it because this is metal, for example.
Yeah.
When you try it, it's not plastic.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
small details like you have an on-off switch.
Sure.
I miss it on many other devices because it's so easy, and you have still media in it.
Okay.
Other companies don't use it
People
anymore.
are moving away from MIDI because of USB, but
Yes, and it's.
But I do
USB
see a comment under 50% of the videos we do when any new product comes out.
Yeah.
Does it have MIDI?
Yeah, of course. It's such an old thing, and still MIDI is big, so it's so interesting. And it's USB-C powered. You don't need anything else. Just put it in your laptop, and you can work with it. Yeah, and it's fantastic quality. The same preamps we have in our big systems. We also have in here. So
How much is the retail on this?
the retail price is around 250.
250.
250.
That's good.
For the small ones, and we
Yeah.
also have the M4 and MF6, but if you need more. So yeah, that's.
Mark of the Unicorn.
Yes.
MOTU.
No unicorn on it anymore, but it's
Oh,
still a
come
unicorn
on.
inside. It's still a
We
unicorn
have a daughter
inside.
who lives for unicorns. That's what it stands for, Mark of the Unicorn.
Yes.
Ah, well,
And we do the distribution for MOTU for 30 years.
yeah.
And we also do the repairs. So if you have any problems with all of these companies, we do the repairs in our house.
Nice.
You don't have to send the stuff to the US and wait for 2 months to get it back or something. So you always get it back fast.
Well, we're doing a giveaway of the M2. There is a link down below
Yes.
to win one of these beautiful MOTU M2s. Okay, so
Okay.
Telefunken obviously has a lot of amazing products. If I was
Yes.
to say to you, gun to your head, what is your favorite Telefunken product?
On one side, there's the iBox we have. We have an active and a passive one, and 1 channel and 2 channel. And we will give away as well such a beautiful DI box. Also
Gorgeous.
built like a tank.
So the active one has, what, a transformer in it?
Yes.
Okay,
Transformer.
okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorite products. And if you want to see the other favorite product, we have this interesting high-end C12, the
Oh,
holy
wow.
grail of
Wow.
microphones. And
This
if
here?
you want to try it out,
1, 2, 2. Mary had a little lamb. Her
All
fleece
these
was white
details.
as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb sure to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
So these are reissues of the original one, and with the original tubes in it, for new or stock tubes.
Oh,
And
NOS. How much is it?
Around 11,000.
Around 11,000. But they're going for like 30 now, aren't they?
Yes,
The
yes.
yeah, the
And we
original.
have a waiting list of 1 year. So if you order one, you will get one in 1 year because all the people want these. So,
Wow, that's incredible.
yeah.
Very, very, very nice. Manuel, thank you ever so much.
Thank
I really
you for your
appreciate it.
time.
Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to enter down below for the MOTU, M2, and of course the Telefunken Active, the iBox. So I'm here with Rene, how are you?
I'm fine, Bohn. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. I must say, I've been clasping this in a lot of videos because I only discovered this 3 days ago, Fritz Cola.
Yeah, it's a
Pretty freaking
typical
awesome.
German cola.
And the sugar-free one is
Yes,
amazing.
yeah.
Anyway, so I'm not sponsored, but I wish I was because it means I would get it for free.
Well, you get it for free here.
I got it for free here, yeah, it's fantastic. Rene, how have you been finding this year's event?
Yeah, it's great. I went to the first Studioszene in Cologne when it was first held, and I thought it was an amazing event. It's a small event, but I think really for the geeks like us, the studio people, it's a really nice event. You have the gear that you always want to see, and especially you're going to meet the people like you that
you're very kind.
you want to meet in person, and the master classes are great. You don't have that at shows like NAMM or Music Messe or something like that. It's just big and you have a lot of gear, but you don't get
I
to have the conversations that you'd like to have.
I think you have to do the right thing and make money as a consequence. And I feel like the sound and recording guys have made it so they do the right thing first. You know, so much interaction. There's a stage over there where there's always somebody talking about mixing, recording equipment or whatever. Then there's the igloo over there where there's master classes going on. And then, of course, there's all the gear and all the food and drink is free if you bought to come in. So they're looking after you first.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. Has there been a favourite piece of equipment you've seen?
Yes, I like the Audioscape gear.
You're the third person that said that, so that's obviously meaning something.
I thought it was mainly in the US market because I have seen you talking on the channel several times with them, but I feel now they also try to enter like the European market, and that's
smart.
That's a nice thing, and it's for the price. I think they have a very good product.
Agreed, 100%. Well, thanks ever so much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Christian,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm great.
We popped over the other day, and you were letting me twiddle the knobs on this little device. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we have Cassiopeia in the 500 format and Lyra, the mono variant. We have a saturator built around tubes. Pretty straightforward. We have saturation. You can dial in the saturation as you need. Then go further down with intensity, which is dry, wet, and your output gain control and your bypass. That's all we have.
Yeah, but what was great about it was it actually sounds good. No, it's okay. So the saturation itself is very, very usable, and I like the fact that it got intense, but it didn't get to a point where it was just awful, unusable schnizzle. I could see myself using this. You gave me a solo vocal yesterday, and I really enjoyed what it did on the vocal.
Yes, correct. We preserve the low end material.
Yeah.
We run into a filter before we hit the tube and roll off back later after the tube, so we don't destroy our low, mid and bass material. That's the trick.
It's really good sounding. Okay, how much is it for the stereo version?
This is €8.99.
Yeah.
The mono version Lyra is $7.49.
Okay, so everybody's buying the stereo.
Well, yeah, some people, just vocalists, go with the mono.
Right, I see.
Building the chain.
Yep.
Exactly. Later down the line, we'll come also in the 19-inch rack format, which is just prototypes today. Then we have Cassiopeia, which is basically a clone of the 500 format. And then Cepheus down the line, which has more control even, plus dual mono.
So what will it do on the dual mono? It will give you more control of frequencies?
You can go also MS, of course, with dual mono, because that's a request today, possible with 2 Lyras, for instance. But we also have control over the filter sitting pre and post tube. So you can
Excellent.
also schnizzle in your sound as you need it.
Yeah, just schnizzle it in.
Yes.
Then, last but not means least,
Yes,
you
of
have
course.
plugins.
Yeah, the interesting fact about us, maybe to highlight, during the actual development, I also started to create a plugin nearly day one to save me soldering time, actually. And so, because changing parameters in software is way easier than soldering resistors and capacitors. And it became a huge success on the software side of things, which...
How much are the plugins?
The plugin is $39 for
That's a good price. Yeah.
Yeah, we think about 85% reached of the sound characteristics of the actual hardware. And a month ago, we released the Lyra MB, which is basically a 4-band multi-band version, where you can even have more controls over. This was asked by the community because many people use Cassiopeia in a multi-band configuration. So we listened to the customers and pulled off this one, which is 79.
79 for 4.
For 4,
great.
yes, exactly.
We have to get those from you.
As many instances as,
As you want.
in the
Amazing.
digital domain, of course.
So, before we move on, it's a pair of ECC 83s, otherwise known to Americans as 12AX7s, and you probably know this from Marshalls in particular, classic preamp tube. So that's what we have sitting inside Cassiopeia. So, rather generously, Christian has agreed to give away one of these Cassiopeias, which is absolutely superb. There is a link down below of the YouTube video down here where you can click to enter to win one of the Cassiopeias. You're a rock star.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Back with Marc. How are you? Chameleon Labs.
Yes, my son.
I do know the name, and I had seen and heard a couple of things before, but then I walk up to your booth and I see, well, an array of products that I know nothing about. So please talk us through what you've got going on here.
So what you remember is, because you and I have been in this business long enough,
a couple of months.
Yep. Right. Just started. Got this fancy women's tracksuit. No. So back in 2002 is when I met them down at Tchotchke Hall in NAMM. Right.
Right.
And I was director of sales at Guitar Center for the country, and I had just ran out of Dan Alexander 1272s to sell. He was modifying those. It was great value. Anybody who bought them has a good, made a good investment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so they were the first guys to send a piece of gear over to China and knock it off, and knock off a 1073. And so I'm like, okay, this is a price point for people that can't, reach all the way up there.
Yeah, Chameleon Labs, Vintech.
Yeah.
Those were
Vintech,
those were the catchphrases I remember. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what I remembered him for. So I wasn't interested in this. I got a phone call, hey, you want to buy this company? No. And then got a second phone call, and then it from the designer, this guy Marcelo, who's done stuff for Event Electronics, for Rode, for Mackie. He's got patents out. Really brilliant designer. He bought the company in 2014. I had no idea. So he redesigned everything, because when you're a designer, it's like, hey, should we work on marketing? Probably not. How about sales? No. How about design? Yes. So I can show you, like the check out what it looks like inside. So that's what we were used to. You and I knew. Yeah. 7602. Yeah. And then now you're over here at the 7603, completely redesigned, custom wound transformers, switching power supply, inductor circuits, all. So now it's an American product. Right.
Cool.
So
I love inductor-based EQ.
Yep. And then so for the compressor, same thing. That's what a 7720 looked like.
Feels sturdy, yeah.
Yeah, it feels real good. And then a 7721, so completely reimagined. So really ground up, redid everything. And I was shocked, because I was like you. I was thinking of this thing from the past.
Yeah.
So this is where he went. So when I bought the company, I also bought enough parts from him at a discount, a deal, to be able to build like a quantity of each of these units and put them out at a price.
Okay.
And when they're gone, I have to reprice and see, is it still going to fit in the market? Is it going to be out of the market? Is it going to be too expensive? So it's like, we got what we got. This is here now. Meantime, I'm working on this, what I call retro sci-fi audio. So we're looking at learning from the past You know, we're going to put people on the moon again, right? So are we going to put them in the Apollo 14 rocket? Because, hey, it worked last time. It's like, no, we're going to learn from the Apollo 14 rocket with all cool new spacesuits and all sorts of stuff that we've learned. That's what I want to do with Chameleon Labs. So no clones. I want to understand yesteryear, but I want to make modern, innovative products. That's the only thing we're going to do. We're going to innovate. So the next product you see from me, which will be 2 years from now, will be something you haven't seen before.
Great. Well, you know, anybody who's followed me knows I have a very nebulous view of the word clone. There are clones, and then there are lookalikes. And 95% of the industry is a lookalike.
Simulacrums.
What do you call them?
Simulacrums.
Simulacrums?
Simulacrums are things that look like something that are not.
Okay, I like that. Simulacrums. Yeah. So why don't you quickly take us through what these 3 individual units are?
Okay, so first we've got the 7721 is a VCA compressor. So it's, people think of it as a bus compressor because it is stereo, so you have one set of controls for left and right. But don't be fooled. Please use it on a vocal. It's great on a vocal track. So, of course, you can stick it on your drums. That's what everybody would think. Bass guitar, but really works well on a vocal as well. So what are some of the cool things we have on it? We can change between peak and RMS. So we're changing the behavior of the detector circuit. That's always what you want to do, because this controls the brain and how it, you know, and how it operates. If I have a bad brain, I'm going to operate badly, right? So I like the brain on here. So we've got enough control on here that we've got, you know, side chain, if we external side chain, we've got soft hard knee. We've also got a blend control, so we can, you know, over compress and then blend it back with our dry signal and decide where we want to end up. So I find it to be extremely usable for a lot of applications.
So you've got a side chain all the way up to 200.
This is a separate. So this would be for an external thing, right?
Okay.
And then this is actually its own side chain as well.
Okay, great.
Just for your
going
low
up to
frequency
200
content.
is great.
Yes.
Good for bass guitars.
Yep, big time. So I just say use it for a one rack space compressor. It is incredibly versatile. That's really my buddy called me. He's like, dude, I need a one space compressor. I'm like, get a distressor, man. You know, and he's like, no, I need stereo. I was like, oh, I make one of those. Let me try it out. Let me see how it works on vocals and all these other things. And I sent him this. I go, listen to this, man. And I sent him the tracks. He was like, oh my God, it's actually great. So,
how much?
Street US $14.99.
Okay, good.
Yep. Okay. And so these guys.
Considering how much an 1176 goes for now.
Yes.
Not a vintage one, brand new one.
Yes.
That's a great price.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So then we've got these are channel strips with mic pre followed by EQ. You know, no compression on board. Again, I have good control. So I've got 2 different versions. One has a Carnhill transformer, input and output transformer, and the other one has our own custom transformers. Remember, we really have 3 transformers in here because there's the mic input transformer, then there's the line input, which in this case is the same line input in each one of these, our custom wound one, which is made by the same people that make many, they make all the transformers for a company that makes many microphones. Can't tell you who. So you can, what I like about it is the EQ is really forgiving. Like you can crank, the first thing I do is push things. So I'm going to crank it up, 15 dB and see what happens to my top end and my bottom end, right? I'm going to play with it real fast and hard. And it's musical to me. It's fun sounding, right? Because it's old school. And then what I like to do is you track through this thing, like in your, and I'm a summing guy, obviously. So then when you go to sum, you switch from mic to line, which has a second input. Because remember, if you're working in your bedroom or wherever, and you're like, okay, now I have to repatch my stuff.
Sure.
Here you don't have to repatch it, because if you have to repatch your stuff, right, you're gonna put a flashlight in your mouth, you're gonna climb behind your rack, you're gonna hit, knock it on something, you're gonna break your tooth, all of a sudden you're gonna have to move into your mom's house, right, because you're gonna lose your job, you have to get all this dental work done. And then your girlfriend's going to leave you. Your boss is going to fire you because you're depressed. All because you didn't have a mic line switch, man. So anyway.
That's a good idea. So you leave it permanently patched and...
permanently patched, and you can just switch right there. And all of a sudden I'm using this now on my mix bus. So I can either drive the front end and chill on the back end, or, chill on the front end, drive the back end. And I can obviously take advantage of the EQ.
Yeah, I'm a push it as hard as it goes.
Yeah, pushing is...
Here at Overdrive, click about one.
Yeah, exactly. Pushing is fun. That's old school.
Nice.
We're the same. So,
very, very nice indeed.
Yep, so the $12.99 US and $16.99 US.
So I'm really excited to hear the difference. I want to know, in my own mind, what I prefer between the Carnhills and your own.
love is.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's a $400 price differential for the thing. So I'd be intrigued.
Yep.
Do you feel like? Actually, I'm going to ask you. Do you feel like it's a different overdrive point when you're pushing them harder?
Yeah, I feel the saturation is different. You know, you're going to have a. You know, it's about feeling something, right?
Sure.
So you're going to feel something different from this. I tend to direct people towards the less expensive one, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's okay.
But that's where I'm sending folks. But yes, absolutely. If you want more of a traditional kind of breakup,
right,
then go with the
Carnhill. The Carnhill
yeah.
one, does it? All right, great. Marc, thanks ever so much. I really appreciate it.
My brother from another mother. Always good to see you.
Last day here at Studioszene 2023. It's been a lot of fun. Thorsten, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. So, Microtech Gefell.
Yeah.
But it's quick. I remember as a kid coming up.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you wanted Neumann,
Yeah.
people would say, you don't have to spend that much money. There's this other company.
Yes.
And this is like, when I was a kid, they had this little thing called the Wall. You may have remembered it.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember
so I'm
that?
East German.
Yeah.
I know. What
So
you're
you know
talking
where
about.
I'm going with the story, and maybe some of the younger viewers don't know, is that after the war, the company got split into two.
That was before the wall came down. That was in 1972 when the communists expropriated Mr. Neumann, and since that the companies are separated. It's from 1972.
Yeah.
And after the wall came down, we started. The East system completely
collapsed.
Collapsed. That's the right word for that. And so we had to change everything in the company and conquer new markets. The whole U.S. American market were absolutely new for us, but we had a good business after this time until now. So.
Well, I would go out, and I was just saying to your colleague over there, I had a 582. Remember the 582?
Oh yeah, this is a vacuum tube mic with a small diaphragm.
Amazing microphone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I love them.
And you used to get those for like $750 back in the day.
Wow.
They were amazing. And they were basically, KM series quality Neumanns that were like 5,000. You could get them for 1,000.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I had a 691, which was the solid state, smallest diaphragm. That was probably my favorite ever acoustic guitar mic.
Okay, so you use it with the M94 capsule. This is a small diaphragm nickel membrane, and that's this very, very close and very fine for recording acoustic instruments, plucked instruments. Whether it's a guitar, or a mandolin, or a harp, whatever.
Unbelievable.
That's the nickel diaphragm.
But it does lead us up to a flagship mic, probably one of the greatest mics ever made, and that, of course, is the 563. This is one of the most famous microphones ever made. I have used this stereo on piano, stereo on rooms.
Okay.
It's an absolutely beautiful, and of course it is the famous M7 capsule.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes.
which we all know from U47s and everything else. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful. All right, how much are these going for? What's the retail on these?
I think recently it is 6,000 euros roundabout.
Right. But it's an incredible. I mean, it's a microphone. If you're looking at that realm of 47s, etc., it's right in there. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Thank you ever so much.
And if you can, for those guys who could not afford such an expensive mic, this one is a M92.
Yeah.
It's the same circuit inside, the same tube inside, the same capsule inside, different transformer, but the same circuit, and it's half of the price.
Okay.
So if you could not afford this one or could not afford a U47 for let's say $30,000 or whatever, this one is around 3,000, 3,500.
Okay. Well, I want to hear that.
Yeah, I love it. It's not the same, but very close.
Beautiful. Give us a quick full range of what you've got.
we have the M930 family, which is the M930, M930 TS, M1030, the UM930, which are a modern capsule, which was made the modern capsule means in Gefell means is 30 years old, which this one is 70, 80 years old. So that means this is a modern, recent capsule, different frequency range. We have some dynamic microphones, MD100, MD300, We have a M900, which is a condenser microphone for handheld applications.
I love the look of that.
Yeah, this is the ice cube. We call it the ice cube. We have also the M7 capsule in a transistor circuit design.
Yeah.
This is vacuum tube mic. This is vacuum tube
How
mic.
much is that with in the transistor?
1,800 roundabout.
Okay.
A lot of guys bought it in the beginning of the 1930s.
Right.
It was one of the first mics that came from Gefell to the US American market.
Now,
And then we have small diaphragm mics, which means we have a mic at the M221, which comes from the measurement microphones. This is a measurement mic, which is misused as a audio microphone,
yeah.
but works very well.
Right.
We have the complete M300 series, which is M300 and M320, which is a cardioid characteristics and the omnidirectional characteristics. And we have a complete new series, which is the M400 or Generation 4, as you can see there.
Yeah.
But it's a very small amplifier and small diaphragm. It's a very small modular series, which is
Yeah.
coming out now these days. So this is what we do at the moment.
So, this lovely gentleman, Thorsten, at Gefell, has decided to give away. Sorry, I have to say, Microtech Gefell. To me, it's always been Gefell.
Gefell is only the village where we are situated.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's giving us this lovely M300, which is what polar pattern is on this?
This is a cardioid.
This is cardioid. Okay. As you've probably heard me waxing lyrically about the small diaphragm condensers that you make, they are amazing on acoustic instruments.
Yes.
They really have this ability to just bring out every single pluck, particularly on percussive kind of picking parts.
Yeah.
I love them.
And after all, it has a optocoupler amplifier inside, which is a very low noise amplifier, and you need that for your studio production.
I don't know. I like no noise as much as I like low noise.
This is a new invention that I did just this second.
Right. So we're giving one of these away. Enter to win down below. And thank you ever so much. I think
I thank you so much, Warren. Thank you.
We're with Gabriel at Tegeler. How are you?
Hi. All good, Warren. Good to meet you.
We have been Tegeler fans for about 6 or 7 years.
Right.
We came over to Berlin 6, 7 years ago and hung out with Michael.
Yeah.
And we had, before that, actually been sent the creme or the cream, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And I remember we did a review on it. I think we were possibly the first people to do a review on it.
I think so. You're right.
We did the review, and then I saw Michael like a year later, and he told me he had done 2 or 3 different trade shows, and SSL had come up to him and go, "Where's this compressor EQ I've been hearing about that's supposed to be amazing?" You know, so this is a real flagship product.
Yeah.
I think it's really super competitive for the price. It would be really hard to beat. It's a Pultec style EQ with an SSL style compressor in it. It's freaking awesome. On your master bus, it takes some beating.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, what else do you have to talk about?
Absolutely. Well, 7 years ago, you reviewed the creme, and since then, we actually have developed the RC version of our devices.
Yep.
So this creme RC here is exactly the same device you reviewed, with the difference that all the potentiometers are motorized, which means you can now digitally recall them. And you, through this plug-in here, you can even see that the potties, they move around, right? So, of course, that looks very cool for fairs, and it's a big gimmick. But much more important than that, it's you can now recall them with your sessions. You can automize them. I would say that would be the biggest difference with the creme. But then other than that, we have done a lot of developments in the 500 series format, for example.
Yep.
The first one was the vocal leveler, which is an optocompressor developed from the optocompressor in the VTRC.
Yep.
Then last year we developed the MITHQ, which is a film capacitor active equalizer. Very nice as well, very colorful and beautiful. And then this is a prototype of our next 500 series.
I wonder what that was.
Yeah, this will be a VCA compressor. It still doesn't have a name, as you can see. It still has only a black front plate, but it's going well. The development is going really well. It's going to be completely linkable, so you can use it for stereo purposes as well. And on top of that, we are now trying to make new versions of our older devices. This one, you can see that it already has the new logo.
Yeah.
We are keeping the old logo in some of the other devices so that we don't have to throw out the front plates, because first of all, it hurts the environment. It will be more expensive, and so we don't want to do that really. But this Varitube compressor here, the newest version, it now has a color compression switch. And that may not look like a lot, but it actually makes a big difference. Because before, a lot of our customers, they would write to us and say, hey, how can I actually use the VTC and drive it in a way that it doesn't really compress that much, but I still want to get that tube warmth, those harmonics. And then we came to our technicians and said, okay, guys, how can we make that happen? And they said, if we do simply a bypass on the sidechain of the compression, then there it is. Because without going to the sidechain, you still get the signal through the tubes. You still get the nice warmth and the extra harmonics, but you don't really compress. So a lot of people are using the VTC now as a compressor for some stuff, but also as an exciter, for example, you know?
Nice.
And stuff like that.
Fantastic.
And then on top of that, we also developed the Machina, which is a digital analog hybrid device with tubes on the input stage. Then you have a digital DSP controlling the actual reflection times. And then from that, you send to another 2 tubes. And then we got this DSP algorithm and we made a round Machina, which is there in the back. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. The round Machina, I can even show you here. Basically, the round Machina is our very first plugin. And we are we are very happy with it. The response has been amazing. Many people are in love with the round Machina. It's only 100 euros on our website, but you can also test it for free for 14 days. And very, very frankly speaking, we're getting emails every day of people saying, I'm not doing any more vocals without the round Machina.
Nice.
And if you have the round Machina already,
absolutely superb.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking us through everything.
Thank you, Warren. Real pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm sitting here with the big cheese. Hey, big cheese, Mr. Marc Bohn. How are you?
Hi, Warren.
Yeah. Have you had a fun time?
Well, we had a great time with so many people. They shared a passion for music production, and it's always great to have them. We want to bring them together here at the Studioszene, and yeah, I'm really, really happy and satisfied that it went so well. Yeah.
It's funny because I want to say it in German and say Studioszene, and you want to say it in English and Studioszene.
That's right. What do you think about the name? Is it international? Do they understand the national?
I mean, I suppose with the Z in it will confuse some people.
Okay.
Because you're saying Studioszene, like the scene.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't mind. I don't mind saying Zena. I think it sounds really cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But either way, it's been absolutely superb and a really good idea to do it here in Hamburg because it's a great city. We've eaten out every night and the restaurants have been wonderful. People are great here. But you know, you sold 5,000 tickets. It's packed. I've heard from a lot of manufacturers that are here just to hang out that they want to come here next year and get booths.
Yeah, it sounds great. From the 22 to 24 October next year. So you are invited.
Oh, we got to do it again. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. The audience are just superb because I think it's one of the few places where you can go where everybody actually who's around us, if you go and talk to them, they do music.
Yeah, it's great. Music. It's great to have them. It's great to have such guys like Purple Disco Machine or Jason Joshua. It's very important for us to have one of the top mixing engineers, producers in the world on a very high level. And yeah, it's also cool to get the support from our media partners, like Produce Like a Pro, which I really appreciate, or the guys from the self-recording band, podcast, and yeah, also from the German media partners as Bonido and all the stuff, and recording blog Jonas, you just talked to him.
Yeah, he's wonderful,
Yeah, it's great. So it's great to bring the community together here at the Studioszene, and it's a lot of fun to do that.
And how many hours sleep have you had in the last few days?
I guess 12 during the last 3 nights.
Okay, so yeah, 4 hours a night. Yeah, you should be good.
4 hours a night, that's okay. It's enough.
Fine. Where do you live?
I live in Cologne, yeah.
So how long is...
It's 5 hours. So yeah, after this interview, I got to pack everything together, put it in our truck.
Drive tonight?
Drive to Cologne. Yeah.
Are you going to do it tonight?
Yeah, we're going to do it tonight.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, great show, excellent work. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Thanks you.
Studioszene 2023. It's a wrap.